What's up, everybody?
Hello.
It's another episode of the Doom Ninja Podcast.
Another one.
This is the
And
29th
another
one, to be exact.
Almost 30.
So, let people get signed in, say what's up in chat. What's up, Crumple Dump?
Word.
Last week's big winner.
Big winner.
And we have Devachka.
Hey.
Another big winner,
Another big winner.
just in general. Mr. Anderson.
That's not how it's supposed to be.
Anderson.
Mr. Anderson.
No, he carried it out like I did. Crumple Dump, were you doing the Matrix or were you doing
He was doing the main.
TNA? Wrestling.
Oh shit, there's a Mr. Anderson in wrestling?
Yeah,
now?
and he holds it out like that.
Oh damn. I didn't even know.
Come on, Crumple Dump.
It takes like
Which
30
one was it?
seconds.
Who's right?
We're
Tell
both
us.
right. I'll clear chat.
What's up, Chrissy?
What's up, Chrissy Chronic? Good to see ya.
All right, so welcome to the show. Crumple Dumps is a mashup.
It is a mashup.
Mr. Anderson. He does that, and you'd have to see the intro. I'll show it to you later. So welcome to the show. This is where we do a live recording of the Doom Ninja Podcast. We are on episode 29.
Yep. Only 40 more to go.
Until some random 79? Oh, 16 if I can do that. 29 is a prime number, so that means something.
Yeah. It primed up to give away some games.
Whoa.
That's
So,
the primer button.
That was the most random
Oh,
sound
man.
effect. You have to excuse us tonight. My co-host is not on his game.
I'm dying. What's happening?
All right, so everyone who's joined us, thank you very much. If you would do us a favor, like us, follow us, hit every little thing that's a positive notion for us on however you listen to it. It was on iTunes, leave a review. It's on Google Play, like us, leave a review.
If you want.
If you want.
If you don't like us, we get it.
If you don't like us, still like us and leave us a review because it doesn't really hurt you much. Cut and paste something generic like
Cunt and paste. Don't tell people to do that.
give us the lyrics to some song from the Matrix soundtrack.
Okay. Some songs on the Matrix sound.
It's "Wake Up" by I love Zachary De La Rocha's band, who Rage Against the Machine.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah. So we record the show in segments. So we'll talk to you guys in between those segments as we set things up. And once we talk about Abzu, we're going to use our new raffle system to give away not one, but two copies of
How you do
Abzu.
it too, right there.
Yeah, that's
The metal two.
The metal two. We're giving away 2 copies of Abzu tonight. It's for PC. Someone actually sent me a DM earlier asking if it was for PS4 by chance, and it's not.
No, PC one.
Yeah, it's PC one.
It's been the same console for years.
Yeah. So we'll have a spot. We'll stop recording and we'll do the raffle. It's all through chat. You'll type in exclamation raffle, and it'll enter you, and you'll see chat notifications. So just follow along for now. And then also, if you look down below,
You know what you'll see.
you'll see the links to Doombrowski's page for all the episodes. You'll also, of the podcast, all the previous ones. You'll also see a link to the Patreon to help support the show. You pay for the website that supports the show. You also pay for the ability for us to broadcast the show on everything. So it really helps us out a lot.
That it does.
And with that being said, you ready to get started?
Let's do this on my newly repaired, slow as hell computer. All right.
It's news time.
That it is.
So this one's going to be a little close to home.
Is it?
It's going to be a lot close to home, actually.
Hopefully it's not bad news.
So previously, you were using what to try to get your game, Suburban Scavengers, on Steam? What's the process called?
It's called Greenlight.
It's called Greenlight.
Where
So you pay some money,
you pay $100,
$100.
non-refundable. All goes to charity, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. And they put your game with whatever materials you've prepped, descriptions, a trailer, whatnot, and the community votes on it. And through some magical means that no one quite understands, once you get to a certain point, they greenlight your game, and it goes on Steam.
They say enough people voted for it, go ahead. And realistically, people vote for it for about 3 days, and after that, you have to have the groundswell to keep it going.
Yep. And then also, people have to know to go there, because I'll be honest, before this process, I didn't know what Greenlight was before taking the journey with you.
I'd only seen like a couple things on Greenlight. I remember seeing some like shoot 'em up game that I thought was cool. And they're like, "Oh, we're trying to get it, ported over from Japanese and put on Steam." It's like, okay, I'll give you a thumbs up.
Yeah.
I really didn't know about it either.
So that process, once you get in once, though, you're in for life.
Yes.
As it were. So once you've been an approved developer through Greenlight, you can add other games without going through that process. Well, Steam is completely thrown out the window.
Yeah. They don't like it, and a lot of other people said they haven't liked it. It was a matter of time.
They said for about the last 3 years that they wanted something different. So they've announced the foundational elements for that. They're going away from Greenlight and going with what they're calling Steam Direct.
All right.
That's going to come out this spring, so just around the corner.
Not far away at all.
Yeah. So the process as they've detailed it so far, this is why I bring this up, is Ryan and myself make video games. Ryan's got way more success as far as completed projects, and this will affect how he gets his games on Steam.
If at all.
And anyone else who lives. I know a lot of people on the indie dev and game dev hashtags on Twitter are all kind of in the same boat with us. The process is going to change from what we just outlined to, you're going to fill out some paperwork. It's going to verify your personal information, or if you're a company, and you're also going to fill out some tax documents, because they want to make sure if you're making money that's properly got to be, declared.
So Uncle Sam doesn't come back to them for any reason.
Yep. And then they're going to collect a fee for each title you wish to distribute.
So it's not $100 for the whole blanket thing.
So it's not a one-time in. It's each
a certain amount per game.
Now, they have said that that's refundable, or you're going to get that back, but they haven't said how in any detail. A lot of the Reddit and Twitter thinks that you'll get 100% of the revenue from the game till you get your $100 back, and then it goes down to the 70% cut that you normally would get after.
Well, that's assuming that you're paying $100.
Yeah. And then they want to make Steam will do a quick QA process. So they've said they're going to make sure the game actually works. They're going to load it up, make sure it doesn't have game crashing bugs. And they're also going to make sure it doesn't break any laws or restricted content. Mm-hmm. So they specifically said child porn and stuff.
No.
Because apparently sneaking stuff in. I didn't know this, that the 360-degree videos you see on YouTube, people were embedding videos in those. Because the content filter doesn't do the 360 degrees. So literally they embed a screen.
Yeah, I've seen some of those with movies.
Yep.
Some Paramount picture or whatever, just some random big-time movie. Yeah, you just turn it to the right and it's on a TV. And now you can watch.
You just watch this movie.
Little Big League or whatever you want to watch.
Wow, that was a reference. So they want to make sure that there's nothing shenanigans with the game itself that doesn't break state laws or just decency laws. And then the fee is the big question. They have literally said they haven't come up with one. They've been polling other studios and developers to see what feels like a good price. They say right now it's between $100 and could be as high as $5,000. They might as well do the pinky thing because
I wouldn't foresee them going that high. My guess, because they still want accessibility of small developers because they're known for having a lot of indie games and things like that. It would probably be closer to the $100 mark, maybe a couple $100, just to make the barrier a little stronger.
Yeah, I think 100 is good because, especially with each game, we talked about, around episode 18 or so of a company that was basically putting out bullcrap games that were rehashes of old games they had or straight stealing ideas for $1 and just raking in $1,000 here, $1,000. I think that would hinder that because if they had to do that for every game.
Yeah, that would have made a big difference.
Yeah. So I think I understand the Switch. I can't say I don't like the Switch. In fact, I like it because in the end, it would not have to go through the groundswell of making sure you got greenlit in the first 3 days or first week. Or
I'm just curious to see what the response ends up being. Like, let's say they only have like a filter that is Valve related or Steam related.
Yep.
So they'll just send you a message that says we're not interested. Then what? Like, do you get to resubmit after X amount of time? Do you have to make certain changes? Do they have to know that it's like
is there
different
feedback
build?
or something?
Yeah, like what goes on after that? That was one part with what they were trying to do with Greenlight, is that you get feedback from the community that's supposedly going to be buying your game. And you're not going to get that now, which is fine. I mean, when you put an item in any other store, you're just going to get a yes or a no.
Yeah.
I mean, when I've tried to submit my game to the Yo-Yo Games showcase, because I make all my stuff in Game Maker, and they just say, like, oh, it's not up to our quality standards, which is, you know, it sucks a little bit, but whatever, at least they told me.
It does make a good point of what to do with their feedback and whatnot, because one of the nice things about Greenlight was you got feedback, but how many people in the actual Steam community know about it? So that's the rub that we had to deal with.
It was super limited. And I think it'd be nicer to have like a group of peers anyway. Even if it were just like if they did like a Greenlight Elite or something. So people, this is just way out there type of stuff, hypothetical. Let's say they had a certain part of the gaming community that did purchase a lot of games, and they agreed for like some sort of compensation that they would vote on X amount of games, guaranteed. So there's this council of 500, we'll say, people that all agree on that because they all get a 10% discount on Steam games or something like that. Yeah. So once every week they'll go through all the different submissions, or at least have certain, you know, chunks divvied out for them, and they'll put in their own votes on it, and then it'll go based on something like that. That way it's not such a freaking crapshoot with the way that it was before. You can still put the same barrier of like per game having to pay for it.
Yeah, for sure.
But maybe that would be better for feedback. Maybe they're going to do something like that. Who knows? We really don't know what they're going to do.
That's true. So we'll see. We'll definitely talk about this more when it comes out, because this kind of directly affects how we proceed with the kind of endeavors we wish for the future.
Yeah. It's like, as soon as I heard it, I was thinking, like, in my mind, like, should I just like finish Suburban Scavengers now? Because there's not going to be enough time to get to where like Greenlight votes it up, and then I start on it.
And then you add the other characters and the other things. So yeah.
So now it's no matter what, I'm going to be shooting in the dark. Like, no matter what I do.
Yeah.
So should I do more on it, or should I just like leave it where it is and just say make it a free game? Just put it on Steam, make it a free game. If they think it's good, great. Yeah. I'll just be out the fee of it, and people will see my game. Like that would probably be.
And then you could do a DLC, like $1 DLC.
Yeah, like new characters. Yeah. There you go, $1. Add friggin', I don't know, Joe. Yeah, I'm just thinking some random like stereotype, generic character.
So we'll definitely report on this in the future as we get more details. Next up, we have talked about one website above all.
Have we?
What is the website we have talked about more than any other website?
Well, one that we have kind of linked the show to within the last few months has been Humble.
Yes, humblebundle.com. Now, like, to just for transparency purposes, we are not getting paid for this. This is just it's a value site for us.
We don't get paid for anything except for by the patrons.
Yes, Patreon. Our Patreon. Thank you.
We very much appreciate.
So Humble Bundle is a great website that takes games and you choose what you want to donate, and they do levels kind of like Kickstarter, and the money goes to charity.
Yep, and you do it generally to get free games. Books like comic books and things like that.
Ebooks they have, and then occasionally do mobile games too.
Okay.
So they have a special, what they're calling Freedom Bundle, which is, I have not seen this before. So it's a mix of genres. It's actually got books in it. It's got some just audio tracks, like soundtracks, and also games and some graphic novels as well. The reason we bring it up is it has a feast of indie games, some of the most popular ones as well.
And as with any Humble Bundle that has a lot of indie games in it, when I see it, I'm like, I should have waited like a month. I should have waited to get that game because it's in the bundle and it's cheaper than the game by itself.
So the bundle right now is $30 or more to unlock, and it goes to there's 3 charities in particular. Normally you kind of dictate which ones, but it's the ACLU, the Doctors Without Borders, and International Rescue Committee are the ones it goes to. And the first game on the list is a $40 game that, not to put salt in your wounds, but you just bought it.
But I got it at half price, so I still got it less than the cost of the full bundle able to get that game.
That's true. So The Witness is a $40 game to start off. So you automatically saving $10, but it's got Stardew Valley, which is a really pretty large title.
$15 game, but sold millions of copies. People really like it. It's like the new coming of Harvest Moon.
If you like the game Abzu, we're going to talk about later, Subnautica kind of takes on a different, little more gameplay to it, spin on it.
Survival version.
Yeah. Day of the Tentacle I've played, actually quasi-enjoy. Some of the other ones that I noticed, Super Meat Boy, which is the indie grail, if you will, was subject of a documentary that kind of made See the Hard Road and then is now immensely popular.
Mm-hmm. Another big one, Nuclear Throne. That's one by Vlambeer that is pretty big as well. Octodad is another one that a lot of people know of just because it's ridiculous.
Yeah, World of Goo was actually a giant mobile success.
Mm-hmm.
It was big on iPhones when they first launched.
Yeah, what else we got? Super Hexagon, VVVVVV. That's another one on there. The Stanley Parable. Those are all huge indie titles. Guacamelee.
There's a couple books. Crazy. One is R in a Nutshell, which is a programming language. It's for statistical computing. Sounds super fancy, but
it does.
Yeah, but it's a whole book on that, and just some other nice things, graphic novels.
Oh, Monster Loves You. We talked about that one.
We did talk about Monster Loves You.
Yeah, that one's in there.
Episode. What else is in here? Song of the Deep was also a title that I think we talked about in an early episode. I think I played it.
It looks familiar. Yeah. Definitely looks familiar. Mini Metro. Yeah, there's just a ton of games.
And there's even a question mark that says more content may be coming soon. I've yet to see them not add more when they do that.
God, the Swapper, 30 Flights of Loving. There's so many games. It's ridiculous.
So we like to bring it up. It's a super value for people who maybe want to get it more into indie games. There's some great titles on here. I know I have some friends who are just now getting into PC gaming. My friend The Fast Andy, for example. So this would be a great way to expand your library a little bit, just from a gaming standpoint, not even considering the books and graphic novels. So definitely check that out. It's humblebundle.com.
And it's the Freedom Bundle.
The Freedom Bundle, which is at the very top. It's a new tab they added that's just for the next 6 days. So basically until we record the next episode of this, though, this bundle will be available. And we highly recommend and have already talked about some of these games. Yeah. So
some of them we know for sure are good.
Yeah. So definitely check it out. End of segment 1. All
right. Export audio.
Yeah, it's a very good bundle. That's why I mentioned it. Friend of the show. What's his name? No. Shoddy Spark or whatever. I forget his Twitch name. He sent me a message today. He was like, bro, you need to check this out. I'm going to probably pick that up this weekend.
Still don't know how Broforce isn't on the Freedom Bundle.
Yeah.
What the hell? That's the most freedom-filled game. Helldivers should be on there too. That's all about freedom.
Yeah.
Shoot, XCOM. Might as well put that on there too. Freedom from the alien tyranny. Okay.
I was going to say maybe they don't want a game representing the ACLU or the Doctors Without Borders, but Super Meat Boy is fairly graphic.
Yeah. Meat.
All right, exported. Now I want to talk about
the game. After I die, really quick, I'm sorry for coughing so much. My lungs are full of crap. Just like me.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I'm a human. I consume. And then I export.
All right, for those who are interested in the giveaway, once we're done with this segment, you'll see it where it says the raffle has been opened, and then you're gonna type in !raffle with no spaces. We'll type it in chat as well, and but not till it's open, and then we'll do 2 winners from those who register.
Yeah, and you have a pretty good chance because there's 2 games, and there's currently 7 people in here.
7 people.
One of them's me. So
yep. And we're gonna have to say Crumple Dump, last week's winner, would have to be ineligible unless there's only 2 people in the channel.
Okay. Well, I guess. I wouldn't say that necessarily.
All right,
He can be
well,
entered into if he wants.
Okay, we'll let him have it.
If
We'll
he
let it
wins,
try.
he's just lucky. I think eventually, if he keeps winning so much, he'll just be like, "Nah, man, like let somebody
Fine.
else take it."
Ooh boy. Okay, so let's talk about Abzu. Oh, and you hear us before the segment. If you haven't been with us before, I clap. That allows us to sync our audio. Ryan records his audio. I record my audio. And then through the magic of sound engineering, we combine the audio and we use the clap as a sync element.
It's generally to keep things more balanced when I do the tracks this way.
Yep.
It's just a little easier. See, Crumpled Up already played Abzu. Somebody might be getting 2 copies of Abzu today.
So, Ryan.
So, Nate.
We got a new game from our Humble Bundle. Monthly.
Yes.
So,
beautiful service that we signed up for.
Yes.
It's so awesome.
If you're not on that, you didn't really think about it. It's like $12 a month. You get 10% off the first month. And it gives you a lot of games.
It always gives you good games.
Yeah. The Abzu, actually, the title of today's game, Abzu, would cost more than the bundle by itself would.
Yeah. And the one from last week would cost
XCOM 2 is
5 bundles.
5. Yeah, that's true. It was a $60 game at full price. So we are talking about Abzu. Ryan, why don't you tell us what Abzu is?
Abzu is an exploration game underwater and sometimes underwater.
Yeah.
It's really strange. It's a super it's a pretty game for sure. It has like a very distinct style. It's it kind of reminds me of like old cell shaded stuff, only a little blockier.
Yeah.
If it makes any sense. It's kind of hard to explain. Once you see it, you definitely it has like its very distinct artistic style to it. There's not really there's no death or anything like that. The game is just kind of meander around for a while, just take it in. It has what ties everything together, because I was thinking about it while playing it, is that it's this exploration game. It's really pretty. It's fun, like watching everything. But if it weren't for that soundtrack, they have a full orchestra that does the soundtrack. You wouldn't get the same feeling just by playing the game. So sorry for deaf people that have to play it. They still get the awesome visuals, but they don't get the sound that like really, really pulls everything together. And the soundtrack actually changes when you're doing certain things to kind of get you more into the mood.
So the game is pretty. The color palette is
it's
what you would expect from coral reefs in the ocean if it was completely illuminated. There is lots of bright colors. It reminded me of the color palette sometimes of No Man's Sky. It had a lot of the same kind of pastel colors and whatnot. It was different graphics because the dolphins look like dolphins, fish look like fish, but it was a lot of the same really bright, brisk colors. And I thought they also did water well. Water's actually really hard to render.
I've always been wowed by water throughout the entirety of water being put in games.
Yeah, because you have a clear liquid that also can be seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
it's usually the surface that you're really looking at, like, wow, that looks really good. I remember as far back as like Ocarina of Time, looking at the water in that game, I was like, man, this water looks good. Like, you compare it to now, you're like, the water's garbage. But like water has always been something that's just, I don't know, it's been like just something that's like a benchmark for a game. Like, does it look good? What does that water look like? That's some good looking water. Those graphics are good.
Ark, a game I love, Ark, Survival Evolved. That one, the shorelines were always awesome. You're like, dude, they did it right. And this whole game, I think the lighting is great. The color palette is great. The music is wonderful.
Yeah. The person who does the camera movement and whatnot too, for the framing, a lot of times it's really good too. It's hard to kind of make the camera follow you directly. The controls are a little weird because you're floating within fully 3D space. It's not a game where you're platforming. There's no gravity. You're just kind of like moving wherever you can. So the camera can kind of get weird. But whenever like something important comes up, it'll always pan the camera to like this perfect picturesque moment. Like when you're swimming with whales or something like that, it'll frame you from the side and it'll show like the whale getting up close, and it's definitely an experience.
Yeah, it's kind of it's kind of leading to what's become a popular genre of it's a game, but there's not like hardcore gameplay. It's more like an interactive story.
Yeah.
This reminds me of Firewatch or Journey, which
it's
is
made by the people that made.
same people.
Yeah.
So yeah, just to get that out of the way, developer is Giant Squid. It's published by 505 Games. This is available on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So all the major platforms. This would be fairly graphic intensive, so I don't foresee it ever being like a mobile game. I can see why.
No, I wouldn't see it on mobile.
You can also see why it might not be on Linux either. Just some of the high res 3D support isn't always there for some Linux machines.
Yeah, but I wouldn't think it's like too intensive for like the Wii U or something like that. Like they could probably pull it off on something like that. It's really crazy that they spent a lot of time, excuse me, and attention to detail on like legit aquatic creatures. I mean, in the game there are meditation stones. It looks like some shark or something, and you sit on it and you begin meditating, quote unquote, and you can look at all the different creatures that are in the area by pressing left.
Yep.
So it'll show you close up, it'll show you the name of it in the lower corner, and it'll show it doing what it does. And a lot of the things, like, they move in schools, like a lot of real fish. And I mean, some of the schools are 500 plus fish.
Yeah.
It looks nuts.
And to point out, this is for the most part all 100% accurate marine life.
Yeah. Yeah, minus the weird sci-fi twist to it.
Yeah.
We didn't even bring up the sci-fi twist yet.
So the game, it has puzzles. Like there's some hidden pools you can go to. That's the water within the water that you can basically free some fish from. Part of the game is also taking screenshots of the vistas, it's a good word, that you see throughout the game and exploring the different areas. You can ride some of the things, right?
Yeah, pretty much anything that is big, it's like as big or bigger than you can ride. So like it starts you out with a grouper. There's just a huge grouper, and it's like, use the such and such button to hold on to it to ride, and it starts swimming around. It's like, oh shit. And there's like manta rays that come up, and like, I wonder if I could ride that. Yeah, ride the manta. And you can, once you ride on it, I didn't figure out until a few different things after I rode on it, you can control them. You can direct them whatever direction you want. You don't have to actually just sit there and ride.
And a lot of the game is also finding currents that kind of propel you through some of the areas and seeing fish. A lot of time you'll have dolphins, or if you're watching the live stream right now, there's orcas. Yeah, kind of a pod of orcas is kind of traveling with you through this current. You cut through tunnels, and like I said, the vegetation, like a lot of games, backgrounds and just the simple floor vegetation wouldn't get a lot of detail. There's a ton here.
There's detail everywhere, and it's because of the way that they do like the very stark colors. When I first started encountering fish schools, the smaller fish are 2D. They're flat, which I don't know if you noticed.
I didn't notice that.
But it's probably to cut back on resources because they have a ton of things on the screen at a time.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the vines and things have flat leaves that are just kind of, running through an animation and flowing. But nothing feels fake, which is really weird. Like everything feels very realistic. There is a story to it. So spoiler alert. In case you're going to be playing it, if you don't want to hear about this, maybe cut back in a few minutes, because there's a story arc to it. So we won't give the game away.
Plug your
for
ears
5 minutes.
For 5 minutes starting now.
Yeah. So there's a shark, right?
Yep.
And it's kind of being a dickhead, and you're kind of following it the whole time. There's also like these alien little robot pods, which is one of the first things you get, and if you're watching the stream, you probably saw it. And then there's a bunch of these pyramids that are kind of mysterious and ominous. And the later you get into the game, the later you realize these pyramids are not good. Like they hurt people. You can't die in the game, but they're really daunting, and they electrocute you and explode and stuff. And they eventually kill the shark, which you kind of you helped it out at one point, and then it comes back and helps you out by crashing into this pyramid, and then it dies, and you're like, what a bummer.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much the spoileriest part of it. The alien stuff it's really cool, really different.
It ties a little bit. It gives a little intrigue to the story of what would be kind of basic.
It makes you feel like you're doing more than just kind of looking at things.
Yep.
Because at a point, I was kind of like done looking at things, And that may be because this game probably should be played in like shorter periods instead of just playing through the whole game. Like I played through the whole game in about an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, they said average is 2 hours. A full explorer, if you want to do, if you're a kind of a completionist, and all the unlockables, they're saying is on that 3 to 5 hour range. If you want to do every aspect of the game.
Well, that's assuming you haven't played through it yet. I'm gonna guess.
Yeah.
Because I watched to see like where some of the unlockables were, and somebody ran the game in like an hour and 15 minutes, showing you things. Not like speed running. They're just like, this is where this is. You go over here. This is where this is, and they kind of showed everything.
They knew where it was.
Yeah, they've gone through the game a couple times. Like I don't know. I don't know what to think of the game. Like I definitely liked playing it. I enjoy playing the game a lot. I just feel like maybe I should have played it like in smaller like chunks.
20-minute, 30-minute chunks.
Yeah,
sometime.
Because it's so epic and like awe-inspiring that like it just kind of drains you of that.
Yeah,
after a certain amount of time.
Turn a corner and you'll be like, bro.
Yeah, but eventually the vistas and things kind of you've seen it before.
Yeah,
and the music is still like super pretty, and I don't know, it's just too much of a good thing. Is what it felt like, honestly. Which, when I try to put a parallel to this game, I would parallel it to Inside. Inside felt very similar. It was a heavy exploration game, although you died in Inside, it just respawned you over and over and over and over. Yeah. It was much darker. Inside was a lot darker, although this game was a bit dark with the pyramids and stuff. They kind of were creepy. And some of the levels where there's like glowing underwater fish, it was a little creepy too. But Inside felt like it made me want to keep going because of the difference between the areas, and the story kind of drags you a little harder than this one did. The story, this quote-unquote story of this, didn't, I don't know, it just wasn't as interesting as like Inside.
Yeah.
Because you wonder a little more what's going on in Inside. And this one, you just see triangles and you go to the end and there's another triangle. You're like, okay, triangles. You don't realize like, maybe I should do something about the triangles. You're just like, I'm going to get to the end and see what happens.
Yeah.
It's not, I feel like I should do something about this.
Yeah, you're riding on a giant tuna right now on the live stream.
Oh, yeah?
Going through a school of a ton of fish.
Yeah. It's so crazy that they can put that much in the game.
So, the one thing I wanted to bring up is the soundtrack you'd mentioned briefly.
Yeah.
So this is starting a trend of I see in a lot of games, especially a few we've talked about, where the soundtracks are now for sale for the game.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, if you go to Steam for Abzu, there is a spot under the DLC and extra content for the soundtrack from the game. You could just straight up get the playlist.
Yeah, and I feel like there should be. I mean, this should have been a thing for a long time.
Yeah.
But, I mean, a lot of soundtracks, you have to consider that way back in the day, when you go back to like 8-bit and 16-bit and things like that, I mean, sure, they could have made something to put onto a cassette, but the tracks were not tracks, they were loops. Yeah. It was something that you could hear continuously over a long period of time. And even as far back as like N64 days, you can purchase soundtracks for some of the games.
Have you ever?
Well, I've downloaded one. I didn't purchase it per se, but I downloaded one that had a full version. I think I may have bought it like at a flea market or something later for Ocarina of Time.
Yep.
Just because it takes me back. But again, that whole soundtrack is just loops.
Yeah, I've purchased one soundtrack, went out of my way to go buy it, and it was an anime called Afro Samurai that they turned to a video game, and the video game soundtrack is produced by the RZA from Wu-Tang Clan, which is one of my favorites of all time. I actually went and found the soundtrack for the game, and they were straight up selling it because I think probably who produced it, and I purchased it. I bought the physical CD, and I've gone back now and bought the digital version as well because it's got just some great stuff on it. So which I've noticed becoming more of a trend. It's a great. I mean, music's not cheap to make, especially to produce well.
No, music is its own art in itself.
Yep, and I think it's a great revenue stream, and it also potentially entices companies to continue to add good music to games and have soundtracks that mean something. I mean, some of us use it for ringtones and whatnot before, but like the music from Mario is kind of famous, even though I don't know that I would buy a CD for it, but that little jingle. But there's other things you could do. Like one of my favorite things about the SSX Tricky game was the music involved with that. Same thing with Tony Hawk. The soundtrack kind of made that experience.
Greatest hits of that era. Like usually, yeah. I mean, I've bought a few different soundtracks also. I mean, like Hotline Miami. Yeah, they had a good soundtrack.
You know, I think I bought Tony Hawk 2 had a soundtrack.
Transistor.
Pennywise had like 3 songs on there or something. That was
the clown
like,
from
really
It?
into. No,
He's in your bedroom right now. I don't know if
that's
you
not
knew
funny.
we all float down here.
Beep beep, Ryan.
Yeah, he's supposed to be at Comic-Con, Orlando Comic-Con.
Not going. No,
Tim Curry. No, just Tim Curry.
Yeah,
but I mean,
man, he had a stroke and it's rough. Like seeing him, like I first fell in love with Tim Curry in the movie Legend, which is Tom Cruise's like first real movie.
He was a boy.
Yeah, he's a young lad there, and he played Tim Curry played the bad guy, and to see the strong hulking thing, and then him in Clue, the movie where he's the butler, was kind of more comedic role, Rocky Horror Picture Show, and then
Home Alone
forward,
2. He was in there too.
What's that?
Home Alone 2. He was like
it was the
motel
concierge
guy,
for that's true. He's been in a lot of things, and it's I don't know, man. I know we all get old, but that's like when Dick Clark had a stroke. It was hard to see him afterwards.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Bummerino. Anyway, Abzu, bright, colorful, cheery.
So this is that exploration story style game that this is my 4th iteration of trying a game, and I just not into them. I appreciate the effort and it takes to paint a picture like this, but I want slightly more interactivity. I want more goals. I want danger and challenge. Like I said, you can't die in this game. I could literally go punch a shark in the face and nothing's gonna happen.
You can't punch a shark in the face.
I know.
You can do your little echo blast at it.
But I mean, the visual's amazing. The sound is amazing. I just the overall gameplay. It's not enough for me. So I'm gonna give it like a. If this was crappy graphics, I'd give it like a 2. But because the graphics and music, I'm gonna go with a 4.5.
All right.
Just because
that's because it's not your thing. Yeah, I get it. Generally, exploration games are not my type of thing either. But the more I've been working on games, and the more that I've like kind of opened up to other arts and whatnot, that because I was usually into like darker stuff for a very long time. I would put Abzu at like a 8. Probably around an 8. Because I definitely like the game. I feel like I was kind of I kind of gypped myself a little bit because like I was telling you earlier, I didn't tell anybody else, but I was playing after somebody else had played through the game, and it saves like some of the pool locations and things that you would be finding. So I missed a little bit on the exploration stuff, like the first time things. I'm not mad about it or anything like that. It's like maybe it would have just added a little extra to it because it's cool seeing like what comes out of the little holes and whatnot and where the different shells are because there's a lot of hidden shells. But the music and the visuals were like, when I first turned it on, I was like, man, I really like this. I had headphones on and everything. Yep. I was sitting like right in front of the TV. It's like, this is awesome. But after about 30 minutes, I was just like, all right, let me get to the next area. I don't feel like exploring anymore. Let's just get to point B. Yeah. And that's maybe where I feel like I should have just put it down. This game honestly reminds me a lot of Panoramical, where you kind of create the experience in that game, and then you move on to the next thing. But with Panoramical, you knew that your only objective was to just make something to your liking. And that was it. You didn't have to actually get to point B, so there was nothing really stopping me in that scenario. And I played that game for like an hour or so, and I was pretty much done with it. With this, since there is a point B, and like I said, the bravado of everything, I should have just waited a little bit. So whoever wins this game and decides they want to play through it, my recommendation, if it feels like it's losing its luster and it doesn't seem as epic and as big as it does when you first turn it on, put it down and come back to it after just a little while. Yep. Do something else that'll take your mind out of Fantasyland, because it really takes you to Fantasyland, and do something else and then come back to it, because you just don't want to get, you don't want too much of a good thing. Just like anything else, you don't eat a bunch of candy, because too much is not good for you, and it loses its flavor. Like I feel the same way about when I get beef jerky. I'm like, man, I love this beef jerky, but I need to not have a bunch of it because I'm going to lose like the good taste of the first time. Sometimes I'll wash my mouth out with water. Oh, is it going to be as good? No. I need to wait like an hour or two and then come back to, cleanse your mental palate for this game. But it's still amazing. I think it's worth even the cost. What is it, like $20 or something like that?
I think full cost,
It's worth it. If you think of it as like from a movie perspective, you're essentially getting a movie out of it. It's an hour and a half of movie, and you do get a little bit of like the feel good, I made something happen type of stuff. The first time when we went through the jet streams and I hit a school of fish and it lit up and it started going after me, I was like, oh, that's badass.
Yep,
like, that's
sure.
super cool.
And if you like just marine life in general, I know people who I have a couple friends who aren't even like big gamers who have played similar games or who have already played Abzu, and they were like, "This is pretty cool." And they're not even the game type people; they just like they wanted to go through the experience. It's the evolution of a choose your own adventure book almost. It's just you're going through a story.
My gamer half makes me want to play again just to get the achievements because there is more. Like, not necessarily puzzle, but more extra things onto the side. Like, I after it was done, I was like, where are these shells at? Like, I want to figure out where these shells are. So, and I saw one that was like, hidden Easter egg, rubber duck, that speaks in a human voice or something. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, this rubber duck and a whale shark apparently is kind of hard to find, and it's in the game.
Well, you can see the whale shark through just gameplay, eventually.
Yeah, well, I guess you don't always, I guess part of it is you don't always see things, depending on what you do affects what you see later.
And some things, like, eat other things.
Yeah.
There's predators. But, like, the duck was funny. They finally, like, swam up, and it was, like, way off in this desolate corner, and it's like, at first it was like, quack. I was like, oh, that sounds like a normal duck. Then it was like, quack. It's like, what? And then somebody does, like, a Donald Duck one.
Nice.
It was ridiculous. But I kind of want to see, like, if it changes the game at all. Like, if you find all the shells. Because I noticed as I was swimming through, there's these walls of shells, and there's gaps that were missing. And I was like, I think once you find it, it'll go to this wall. What happens if that wall fills up? I want to know.
That's true. Because the Twitch stream, or someone joining us through Twitch, Devachka, said it's the closest I will ever be to living the life of a mermaid. It's a great comment.
She likes mermaids a lot. When she was young, she used to wish she could be a mermaid.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. So check out Abzu. It's ABZU. Yes. And it's available on Steam. It's in the PlayStation Market and the Xbox Store.
And if you're in the chat right now watching us live on Twitch, get ready to win yourself a copy.
We're giving away in 2 copies.
That's right. Get the people hyped for next week.
All right, so we've done recording. If you would like to try to get a copy of Abzu, I need you to type in !raffle with no space in the chat for Twitch. We'll wait a few minutes for people to do that.
In complete silence, I'm going to stare at you. But then I'm going to go off because I can't help it. I'm dying.
Let's see here. Type in !raffle to enter for your chance to win a copy. I forget there's a delay from us talking too when they hear it on Twitch.
Yeah, it's like 30 seconds. We need to do that delay offset. And
whoa, we've got
that's Adam
Raw Forward here.
Adam Arndt. I know that guy. What's up, man? I didn't expect to see you here. That's awesome. I'm glad you had time to make it. I know you're pretty busy these days.
Yeah.
With the new child and whatnot. Oh, man.
All right.
We got 3 raffleers
another
in 2
couple
games.
seconds. Yeah.
Your chances are
fairly high.
Yeah, pretty high.
All right, we'll see if I can do both drawings in one shot. So, last chance. Last call for raffle entry. Then I'll wait 10 seconds or so because there's a delay.
It's 30.
Is it 30?
Yeah. We can go into the settings and change that delay. There's a way that you can cut it down significantly. So maybe we'll do that, just so they don't have to wait so long. Not like they're sniping us or anything. They're not ghosting.
Yeah. So wait a second. 2. Go. And I'll do a little dance. There we go.
I was just
all right. So we're gonna close the raffle, and we're gonna do a drawing. And the first winner is Adam Raw. Let's see if it'll let me do a second without starting the raffle over. And the second winner, Chrissy Chronic.
Nice.
Our 2 winners. Thank you for also being followers of our podcast. So we have Adam and Chrissy Chronic. We will be sending you messages a little later with the Steam keys for those games. And we really appreciate you listening.
Yes. Thanks for being here. And thanks for supporting us. Because I know that you both do.
Yeah.
Because I've seen you before.
Boom. All right, so
Excuse me.
So Adam,
Ugh.
Ra, and Chrissy, you'll in your inbox for Twitch, you'll get a message a little bit later that'll have the Steam keys for that. And once again, thanks for listening.
Yeah, and enjoy.
Let's take a picture of the screen so I can see.
Easy raffle.
Yeah, it was.
See, the early adopters they're lucky because
Yeah.
they get the higher chances.
All right, next up is studio update.
Studio.
Wait, did I?
Export. Abzu.
Hold on. I know I hit record.
Did you screw up again? Did you not record something?
Hold on, I need to listen. Sorry, guys, you were going to hear weird noises for a moment. And then I need to make sure I didn't screw something up. Nope, it's right there.
Right, there it is. Woo, there it is.
Export.
Crumple Dump's gonna hit the
Export.
raffle next week.
Huh?
I think next week should be Steam World Heist.
Okay.
I want to play that one. Unless you got another one. What do you think?
We should probably check out. We should probably do a couple, 2 games or so, because we need to get a couple in the can too.
Okay. We'll can that other one you said. The early access one that's only like a level or 2. Skeleton whatever.
Oh,
Hollow. Yeah, yeah.
Hollow Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's fun.
We'll do
I
that.
like it.
Yeah, I watched Kowal play it, but it's like one level, I guess. Or not very much of the game.
Yeah. All right.
Bang bang bang.
All right. So clear. All right. Ready. Ryan, what's going on in Studio Dombrowski?
You're looking at it. Nothing. Well, not nothing. This podcast is not nothing. I mean, I've limited myself this week. The Crumple Dump, the other guy that's working with me. He's working on me. Working with me on response. He wasn't feeling too well earlier this week, so we didn't do any work on response. I could have taken some time to do it, but I don't know. I just wasn't really feeling it this week. And then with that news of like Greenlight going away, like I felt like I was kind of pulled a lot of directions. Like, should I keep going with Suburban Scavengers now and just like submit it when it's more full or what? Like I don't even know. So yeah, I didn't really do anything with that. I still made sure I kept update with my newsletters and whatnot because I am still thinking about doing stuff. I'm still working on things. Mainly still focusing on work stuff because of my job. I have a lot of responsibilities that seem to be growing with every day. Because the guy that runs the place is he's a bit of a man child. He knows it. So if he's listening to this, he's not.
You're not saying something new.
He's not gonna get mad. He understands, and it's just taking a long time to kind of get him into the mode to do things and help promote his business. Because unfortunately, most of his business is dealt with online. He sells cards for collectible card games.
Yep.
And so I got to make sure I do enough of the listing of cards so he can pay for me and his business and whatnot. But I have to try to get people to come in the store because you make a lot more money off of singles when you sell them in the store. So we got to get people in. And I mean, just yesterday I got like 10 emails from the Pocketbook, which is not him, it's his mother. And she's like, "Oh, you need to do all this and do this and do this." I was like, "You should, this should be spread among all the employees and not just all put on my back." So I'm going to be working on that this week. I'm also, since I'm working at a card shop, I want to know all the product that we're selling.
For sure.
So I want to be able to teach people, because there was a customer that came in that, this is pretty crazy. He came in with his son. He said, "I used to play Magic a long time ago. I don't know many of the new keywords. Can you show me how to play? And just, if I have any questions, just help answer." So, so I played like 5 or 6 games of Magic with him. Showed him all the ropes and everything. He bought a stack of cards. He bought like $100 worth of stuff that day. I was like, "Oh, that's awesome." He came back another time. Played casually for a little while. He actually joined in a draft for 1 week,
Oh, nice.
which was cool. Yeah, we had a full draft, which was like the first time I've seen that since I worked there. That takes 8 people, so that's a pretty big deal. and he had a lot of fun on the draft. And then he came back the day that I had off. He came back on a Thursday, and he bought out 3 sets of our Magic cards.
Holy crap!
Yeah, he spent like $400, and he bought the rest of the product, which kind of stunk because we had a tournament going on this last weekend, Magic Game Day, and we didn't have payout. We usually pay out packs. He bought all the newest stuff and like a couple sets before it. So, but I mean, it's cool. He bought stuff, and that's what's important. So, and I'm gonna be seeing about possibly investing a little bit in the business too. I've talked to the Pocketbook about it, his mom, and she said that we'll probably do some sort of profit share if I want to buy things on my own dime. So I might do that because the store needs more than it has. It doesn't feel like a comic store. You can go to Walmart and get everything you can get at that store, basically, short of like Force of Will.
Yeah,
but I mean, that's not a lot. That's only 2 different sets. Anyway, so I've been thinking about that a lot. I've made it a goal for each week to learn a new game. So this last week I learned Pokemon card game again. Totally forgot how to play it, so I relearned it. Actually played against one of the customers. He bought a pre-con as well. I bought the pre-con that was like grass and basic. He bought a fire and fighting pre-con, fully against my deck. Leaf is weak to fire, and basic is weak to fighting. And I still beat him.
Nice.
So that was kind of cool. But now I feel like I want to like make more Pokemon decks, like make my deck better. But I got to move on to the next game. So next week will probably be Yu-Gi-Oh, because that's a pretty popular one. We got a lot of people coming in for that.
App too. You can play Yu-Gi-Oh.
My phone stinks, and it would be super tiny. I would rather buy the Yu-Gi-Oh game on Steam and learn it through that. I mean, it's a little bit of money, but honestly, this week I'll probably buy a pre-con at work because I brought in a stack of like commons and uncommons that over time have just become expensive.
Yeah,
it's like cards that I'm never going to use, so I got like $150 in store credit. So for the new games, I'll just buy a starter deck, and then I'll be like, "Yo, anybody here want to teach me?" Because everybody there pretty much, they like me, which is good. So I'll have somebody up there just teach me the basics of Yu-Gi-Oh, so I can teach other people. Then I'll work my way down the line. Force of Will probably be next in line, and then we have a couple other games: Vanguard, Weiss Schwartz, and Buddy Fight. They're all these like super Asian games that I guess in Europe they're pretty big. We definitely sell some cards for those games, like, and they're not cheap. Some of the cards are $15, $30.
Yeah,
somebody's playing it.
I might come down the shop and be educated.
You should, man. I found some tournament packets that they bought that like they don't even have games to really support. They have the Star Wars card game, but nothing more than that. So I feel like what's going on here? What are you doing? You threw me off. You threw me off. Anyway, I feel like busting one of the Star Wars games open just so we can try to do tournaments for that because it's supposed to be a good game. What are you doing? Minute delay.
Someone's
Are you too loud?
OCD about the blue poof on our mic was crooked.
The blue poof?
The thing on the microphone.
Where did I miss that? Who said that?
Chat, Chrissy Kronk.
Oh, is my chat not all the way down?
Or maybe it was a message just to me.
I think it was just you.
Oh.
Anyway, I haven't really been working with game stuff, and I feel like it stresses me out to think about getting started with it because I'm doing a lot of other stuff with my job.
Yeah.
So maybe I just need to keep it limited to, Thursdays being the day that I just go hang out with Kale if he's feeling up to it. We work for a few hours and then have that be the development work that, I'm sure that I'm going to do for that week. Anything beyond that will just be extra. That's pretty much it for me. What have you been doing? You work on games, right?
Yeah, brah. So for me, I rewrote the energy system. It was like I mentioned last episode, it was like 20 lines of code within each of the bot's transformations. I've now just combined that into one script, so it'll make adding things easier and also tweaking things a little easier too.
Mm-hmm. So when you put the nip script in, it'll be a lot easier to tweak.
Yeah, exactly.
Tweak the nip script.
Exactly, because that's the most important script of all is a nip script.
Yeah, or the shoot good dogs script. You ever seen Hershey Wood?
No.
All right.
I think nip script should be the episode title. Our buddy Logan, he's doing the artwork for me.
Mm-hmm.
He showed me some prototypes of what he was thinking, and we went through like 3 different ones, and we merged 2 together to make at least the first prototype of what the main character will look like. So,
all right.
For now, it's a hot dog sucker. It's a guy on a single wheel that rolls around with the robot and has kind of buff arms, and one's a cannon and one's an arm. And then we're working on, he's going to make the 4 different modes, and then we'll work on the transitions later.
All right.
And you look like you're about to die laughing from whatever was in Twitch chat.
No, somebody knew about her. She would.
No. Also, I cleaned up a lot of the existing code. Before it was kind of sloppy, and there were some shortcuts I could use, so that just reduced the overall lines in general. It also made some of it a little easier to read. I halfway through making this game, based on seeing how different people do bracket setups, it's coded like tabs and spaces aren't like, I don't know, not required. There's no set standard. The compiler doesn't care. You can even put it all on one line and it won't give a crap as long as it's got the proper parentheses and brackets and whatnot. Yeah. But after something you said and watching some other videos, I deviated from how I originally, quote unquote, learned brackets to more of a leveling system that makes it a little easier to read and kind of lay things out a little better. Yeah. And so my goals, those were my main goals from last week. So that the new goals are starting the enemy coding. So the few enemy things, there's one guy that's kind of patrols back and forth, and I have to make it where if you get close enough, it starts shooting at you. Yeah. And then I need to make some little guys that if you are wall crawling, they kind of crawl up walls too and stuff. So just got to start working on the enemy UI, which is going to be super basic. Or AI. Sorry, UI is what it looks like.
The enemy user interface.
Yes. So we're going to start working on the enemy basics. And then from there, it's starting to design a couple levels to test things on. Because right now, the way I want to have the game is it'll just do the first level is just platform mechanics. So left, right, jump. And then you'll unlock the shooter mode, and you'll do a level or two with the shooting mode, and then you'll unlock another mode, and then you'll kind of in the first 5 levels you'll have unlocked everything, which will also act as the tutorial, which you know me in tutorials. Yeah, it's an important part of the game. And then you'll kind of dive into the harder parts of the game where you have to switch between the different modes to finish the level. So
I'll play it.
And then level design.
Finish the game. It only takes like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Just hit the done button.
Yeah, I'm more worried about level design. I think it's going to be pretty hard.
Get some graph paper and doodle some designs since it's like a platformer.
That's true.
That's what I did with my first game. With the Super Game Boy thing, I just doodled all of it on graph paper. And then like, okay, I can kind of make this fit.
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. So that's what's up to date. And then as far as the podcast, I finally, through partial stupidity, there was a bug with Twitch for 2 weeks that they just now fixed. We now have a smooth transition from the Twitch VOD to YouTube. So our YouTube channel will properly once again start updating. I can actually do it the second we end the Twitch stream, put it right on YouTube. So we'll get back to publishing all the videos on YouTube at YouTube. Like said YouTube like 4 times.
But YouTube, if we YouTube, we can put the YouTube on YouTube.
In your tube.
And my tube? Yep. Ew, don't do it in my tube. Keep my tube out of this.
But we'll have that. We'll have links for everything in there. So you'll be able to, if you don't catch the live recording and you're a week or 2 behind because Twitch only records the last 2, you can go back and see the full catalog of episodes. The first 20 you're in there, then there's a gap between the 20th and then this will be 29 because we had issues with Twitch and some other issues were going on. So that has been resolved.
All right.
Yay.
Tube. Bung tube.
Is Chrissy a friend of yours?
She's a Twitter follower.
Ah, nice.
I apologize for dying. I hate it. Ugh. Hopefully I'll be less dying.
Don't like dying.
I don't like dying as quickly.
Sorry, Chrissy's now made me OCD about the mic cover.
Oh, there's like a gash on that one side. You might want
to. No, I'm just gonna make her suffer.
Suffer. Who says that? Is it Nocturne in League of Legends? I feel like he does that. He's like, suffer something.
Darkness. All right, so at this point, we've finished recording the meat and potatoes of the show. We're gonna do the intro, the podcast shout out, because we are part of the GunnaGeek.com network. It's a lot of great other podcasts that are all in the same. If you like our show, you'll probably like a lot of the other ones.
If you like the very end of the show, like after all the music is done, you'll probably like this next part, because that's where a lot of the stuff comes from.
Yeah. So the guy who edits the show, granted, I'm the one who messed up the most. At the end of every show, there's the outro music and then the blooper reel for the week, and it's all but like 2 episodes is me, and technically one of the episodes that was Ryan was reacting to something I did. So it's almost always my fault. But we need an intro.
Intro. I need to not die when I do it. All right.
And nipple scripts.
Nipple scripts. I don't know if I want to do and nipple scripts or just call the show nipple scripts.
And for those watching on Twitch, this is the part, and later on YouTube, this is the part where we sometimes immediately have an answer for what the intro add-on should be.
I'm going to do nipple scripts as the name. Staying away from my tube.
Nice. There we go.
Death comes.
Darkness.
Here we go. Let me get my coughs out. Get hyped. And then his dick fell off. Okay, here we go. Hi, I'm Ryan Dombrowski of game development studio Doombrowski.
I'm Nathan, YouTuber and rookie game dev.
And they can understand this, right?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Hi, I'm Ryan Dombrowski of game development studio Doombrowski.
I'm Nathan, YouTuber and rookie game dev, the Ninja Fat Man.
And together we are Doom Ninja,
a podcast about all things gaming, from streaming to development, new games and old, AAA to indie games.
And staying away from my tube.
Nice.
I should have emphasized the my. Staying away from my tube. Export audio, EP29. Give me the keys, you fucking cocksucker.
Whoa.
You ever seen, what is it? The Usual Suspects?
Yeah.
That's how.
Give me the keys.
That's how he says.
Because that whole episode, that whole scene's an outtake.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't keep their face straight. Okay, so now for the podcast shout out.
The tube. The chlube. It hurts my mouth feel dirty when I say chlube.
Chlube. It does.
Chlube.
You've done something illegal in 9 countries.
Yeah, but what about chlube?
There's always time for chlube. All right, podcast plug.
Ugh. Soap and water. Let me make sure this exported.
There's something about you, girl.
Let my head wanna twirl. Okay. X out. Start the recording.
That song goes out to Devachka.
Topics. Okay. Let us roll.
It's time for the podcast plug.
For keeping all of the podcast fluid in its reservoir.
The Starling Tribune is a podcast dedicated to CW's Arrow TV show.
Each week, reporters Stargate Pioneer, Chris Farrell, Neil Isn't Witty, and Michelle Ely geek out about Arrow and the CW DC TV comic universe.
With new episodes coming in on Sundays and the live recordings on Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Find out more at www.geeks.link/Starling.
Boom.
Got it. I know my letters.
Yeah, that's why. So people know we break up the show notes in a Google Doc, and it was just the CWDC TV comic universe. I literally switched the lines around because I knew I wasn't gonna be able to make that work.
He was going over it earlier, kind of like mouthing it out, and that part was like,
Yeah.
Oh, man.
All right, so thanks everyone for listening to our recording of this week's podcast. If you're a Patreon backer, you will get access to the episode Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on editing. Everyone else will get it on Thursday, and you can find us pretty much everywhere that you can find podcasts. So we're on Google Play, we're on iTunes. You can go to the doombrowski.com store or website, and we're there. And pretty much everywhere. We're about to be on Amazon and Spotify soon. I'm working on that.
All right.
So thanks for listening.
May your headbands be tight.
May your headband be tight and your XP plentiful.
Booyah.